Have you ever noticed how one bad morning can destroy your entire day? You wake up tired. You check your phone. You compare your life to strangers online. Stress enters your mind before your feet even touch the floor. And without realizing it, you lose control of your peace. But the Stoics believed something different. They believed the first hour of your morning decides the direction of your mind. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers and Roman emperors, woke up every day knowing he would face difficult people, stress, pressure, and disappointment. Yet he still trained himself to rise with calmness and discipline. Because a Stoic does not wait for life to become easy. A Stoic becomes stronger than chaos. So today, we are going to learn how to start your morning like a Stoic. These habits are simple, powerful, and life-changing. And if you practice them every morning, your mind will slowly become calmer, stronger, and more focused. Before we begin, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and comment below. I control my morning. Now let us begin. The first thing a Stoic does in the morning is wake up with purpose. Most people wake up and immediately complain. They complain about work. They complain about stress. They complain about responsibilities. But Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive." That one sentence can completely change your mindset. A Stoic understands that waking up is not a burden. It is another chance. Another chance to improve. Another chance to become wiser. Another chance to build discipline. There is a story about a man who hated his mornings. Every day he woke up angry, rushed, and frustrated. His entire day felt heavy. One morning, his grandfather told him something simple. "Before you touch your phone, say thank you for waking up." The man laughed at first, but he tried it anyway. The next morning, before getting out of bed, he whispered, "Thank you for another day." Slowly, his mornings began to change. Then his attitude changed. Then his life changed. Gratitude shifts the mind from lack to strength. A Stoic wakes up and remembers, there are people who prayed for the day you are complaining about. The second thing a Stoic does is avoid instant distraction. The modern world attacks your mind the moment you wake up. Notifications. Messages. Bad news. Social media. Comparison. Most people give their peace away before breakfast. But Stoics protected their minds carefully. Imagine starting your day by feeding your brain anxiety, gossip, negativity, and noise. How can your mind become calm? A young woman once had a terrible habit. Every morning, the first thing she did was scroll through social media. Within minutes, she compared her body, money, relationship, and success to everyone else online. She started every day feeling behind in life. One day, she decided to stop checking her phone for the first hour of the morning. Instead, she sat quietly, stretched, drank water, and journaled. After 1 month, her anxiety dropped dramatically. Why? Because she stopped allowing strangers to control her emotions. A Stoic understands this powerful truth. If you do not control your attention, the world will control it for you. Protect your mind in the morning. Your peace depends on it. The third thing a Stoic does is practice silence. The world is loud. People are loud. Thoughts are loud. But silence reveals truth. Many Stoic philosophers spent time alone every morning reflecting deeply. Not because they hated people, but because they needed clarity. There was once a warrior who asked a wise monk, "How do I become mentally strong?" The monk took him to a lake early in the morning. The water was completely still. The monk said, "Your mind must become like this water. When it is calm, you can see clearly." That is the power of silence. Most people never sit alone with their thoughts. They constantly seek noise because silence forces them to confront themselves. But growth begins when excuses become quiet. Even 5 minutes of silence every morning can transform your mindset. Sit quietly. Breathe deeply. Observe your thoughts without panic. A Stoic does not run from the mind. A Stoic trains it. The fourth thing a Stoic does is prepare for difficulty. This may sound strange. But Stoics did not expect perfect days. They expected challenges. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself every morning that he would meet rude, selfish, dishonest, and difficult people. Not to become negative, but to become prepared. Because expectations shape emotions. If you expect life to be easy, every problem feels unfair. But if you expect obstacles, you stop being shocked by them. A small business owner once lost a major client early in the morning. Years ago, this would have destroyed his mood for weeks. But after studying Stoicism, he responded differently. Instead of panicking, he said, "This is difficult, but difficulty is part of life." That one mindset saved him. The obstacle no longer controlled him emotionally. Stoics understand something powerful. You cannot control events. But you can control your response. Every morning, remind yourself. Today may be difficult. But I will remain calm. That is strength. The fifth thing a Stoic does is move the body. The body and mind are connected. A weak body often creates a tired mind. A disciplined body strengthens discipline in the soul. The Stoics valued endurance and resilience. You do not need a perfect gym. You do not need expensive equipment. Just move. Walk. Stretch. Exercise. Breathe fresh air. There was a man who constantly felt mentally exhausted. He thought his problem was motivation. But the truth was simpler. He never moved his body. Every morning he stayed in bed scrolling endlessly. One day, he started taking a 20-minute walk every sunrise. No music. No phone. Just movement and reflection. Within weeks, his energy changed. Movement awakens the spirit. A Stoic does not allow laziness to dominate the morning. Because how you move your body affects how you carry your mind. The sixth thing a Stoic does is control negative thinking early. Negative thoughts are strongest in the morning. Fear about the future. Regret about the past. Anxiety about responsibilities. If you do not challenge these thoughts early, they grow stronger throughout the day. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, taught that people are disturbed not by events, but by their opinions about events. That means your interpretation creates suffering. A student once failed an important exam and believed his life was over. For weeks he called himself a failure. Then his mentor asked him, "Did the exam destroy your future, or did your thoughts destroy your confidence?" That question changed everything. The Stoics teach us to observe thoughts instead of blindly believing them. Not every thought deserves your trust. In the morning, speak strength into your mind. Tell yourself, "I can handle today. I will remain calm. I will focus only on what I can control." Your mind listens to what you repeat. The seventh thing a Stoic does is focus on one day at a time. Most people suffer because they mentally carry tomorrow, next month, and next year all at once. They wake up already overwhelmed. But Stoics stayed present. They focused on the current day. A farmer once worried constantly about the future. What if the rain does not come? What if my crops fail? What if everything goes wrong? An older farmer told him, "You are suffering from problems that do not even exist yet." That is how many people live. Mentally exhausted by imaginary disasters. Stoicism teaches, face today fully before worrying about tomorrow. Handle this moment. Handle this task. Handle this breath. Peace lives in the present moment. The eighth thing a Stoic does is journal thoughts. Writing creates clarity. Marcus Aurelius wrote personal reflections almost every day. Those writings later became one of the greatest Stoic books ever created. Journaling allows you to understand yourself honestly. You begin noticing patterns, excuses, fears, habits. A young man struggled with anger for years. Every morning he began writing one question. What truly controls my anger? At first, he blamed other people. But eventually, he realized something painful. His anger came from his own expectations. That self-awareness changed his life. Writing reveals truths the mind tries to hide. Every morning, write something simple. What are you grateful for? What do you need to improve? What kind of person do you want to become today? A Stoic seeks self-mastery daily. The ninth thing a Stoic does is stop chasing comfort. Comfort is addictive. The warm bed. The snooze button. The excuses. But comfort slowly weakens discipline. Stoics believed voluntary discomfort builds strength. Cold showers. Early mornings. Hard work. Self-control. Not to suffer unnecessarily, but to train resilience. There was once a successful athlete who woke up before sunrise every single day to train. Someone asked him, "Why do you push yourself so hard when you already succeeded?" He replied, "Because comfort destroys greatness." That is true for all of us. The more addicted you become to comfort, the weaker your discipline becomes. A Stoic chooses growth over ease. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is simply get out of bed when you do not feel like it. The 10th thing a Stoic does is remember death. This may sound dark, but Stoics use the awareness of death to appreciate life more deeply. They called it memento mori, remember you will die. Not to create fear, but urgency. A man spent years delaying his dreams. He delayed apologizing. Delayed improving himself. Delayed spending time with family. One day, he lost someone he loved unexpectedly. That loss taught him a painful truth. Time is not guaranteed. From that day forward, he stopped wasting mornings. He woke up with intention. The Stoics understood something modern society forgets. Your time is precious. Every morning is a gift many people never received. So stop wasting your mornings in negativity, laziness, and distraction. Wake up with awareness. Wake up with purpose. Wake up like a Stoic. The 11th thing a Stoic does is protect inner peace from other people's moods. Many people wake up peaceful but lose that peace the moment they interact with others. A rude message. A negative comment. An angry coworker. Suddenly, their emotions are controlled by someone else. But Stoics understood that other people's behavior belongs to them, not to you. There was a taxi driver known for being unusually calm. One morning, another driver screamed at him in traffic and insulted him aggressively. But he simply smiled and drove away. His passenger asked, "Why did you stay calm?" The driver replied, "Why would I allow someone else's anger to enter my mind?" That is Stoic power. Do not carry other people's emotional chaos into your morning. Protect your peace carefully. Your calmness is valuable. The 12th thing a Stoic does is choose discipline over motivation. Most people wait to feel motivated before taking action. But motivation is unreliable. Some mornings you will feel inspired. Other mornings you will feel tired. Stoicism teaches consistency. Do what must be done whether you feel like it or not. A writer dreamed of publishing a book for 10 years. But he only wrote when he felt motivated. So nothing happened. Then he changed one habit. He started writing every single morning for 1 hour no matter how he felt. 1 year later, he finished his book. Discipline created what motivation never could. A Stoic does not ask, "Do I feel like doing this?" A Stoic asks, "Is this the right thing to do?" That mindset changes everything. The 13th thing a Stoic does is speak carefully. Your first words in the morning matter. Many people wake up complaining immediately. I am tired. My life is stressful. Everything is hard. Words shape emotions. A father once noticed his son constantly speaking negatively every morning. One day he told him, "Your mouth is training your mind." That sentence stayed with the boy forever. Stoics believed speech should be intentional, calm, and truthful. Speak strength. Speak gratitude. Speak wisdom. The energy you create in the morning follows you throughout the day. The 14th thing a Stoic does is focus on character more than success. Modern society tells people to chase money, status, and attention. But Stoics focused on becoming good human beings. Because success without character leads to emptiness. A wealthy businessman once admitted that despite his money, he felt miserable every morning. Why? Because he sacrificed peace, honesty, and family for success. Meanwhile, a simple teacher with far less money woke up fulfilled every day because he lived with integrity and purpose. Stoicism teaches. The quality of your character matters more than the size of your bank account. Every morning ask yourself, how can I become wiser today? How can I become calmer today? How can I become better today? That is true success. The 15th thing a Stoic does is end the morning with intention. Do not drift through the day unconsciously. Choose your mindset intentionally. Before leaving your home or beginning your work, pause for a moment. Take a breath. Remind yourself, I will not allow anger to control me. I will not waste energy on things outside my control. I will remain disciplined. I will remain calm. A soldier once carried a small note in his pocket every morning. On it were written 3 words. Stay calm today. Whenever stress appeared, he touched the note and remembered who he wanted to become. That simple habit changed how he handled pressure. The Stoics understood that identity is built daily. You become what you repeatedly practice. So practice calmness. Practice gratitude. Practice discipline. Practice wisdom. And eventually, those things become part of who you are. Starting your morning like a Stoic will not make your life perfect overnight. You will still face stress. You will still face difficult people. You will still face painful moments. But your mind will become stronger. And that changes everything. Because true power is not controlling the world around you. True power is controlling yourself. And there is one more thing the Stoics understood that most people never realize. Your morning routine is not just about productivity. It is about identity. Every action you repeat after waking up tells your mind who you are becoming. When you wake up and immediately complain, you teach your mind weakness. When you wake up and avoid responsibility, you teach your mind fear. When you wake up and chase distraction, you teach your mind dependency. But when you wake up with discipline, when you wake up with calmness, when you wake up with purpose, you slowly transform yourself into someone stronger. That transformation does not happen in one day. It happens quietly. Like water shaping stone. There was once an old craftsman who made swords for warriors. A young student visited him and asked, "How do you create something so strong?" The old man smiled and said, "One careful strike at a time. That is how mental strength is built. One disciplined morning at a time." Most people want instant transformation. But Stoicism is about daily practice. Small habits repeated consistently become powerful. A calm morning becomes a calm personality. A disciplined morning becomes a disciplined life. The 16th thing a Stoic does is avoid emotional reactions early in the day. The morning mind is sensitive. If you start the day with anger, frustration, or panic, those emotions often stay with you for hours. A Stoic learns to pause before reacting. A young employee once received a harsh message from his boss early in the morning. Immediately, anger rushed into his body. He wanted to reply emotionally. But instead, he took a deep breath, walked outside, and waited. Hours later, after calming down, he responded professionally instead of emotionally. That single decision protected his job, reputation, and peace. Most problems grow because emotions move faster than wisdom. Stoics practiced emotional control because they understood something important. You cannot always stop emotions from appearing. But you can stop them from controlling your actions. In the morning especially, protect your emotional state carefully. Do not feed anger. Do not feed anxiety. Do not feed drama. Feed calmness instead. The 17th thing a Stoic does is embrace simplicity. Modern people overcomplicate life. Too many goals. Too many distractions. Too many unnecessary worries. But Stoics valued simplicity because simplicity creates clarity. A rich man once visited a philosopher and was shocked by how simple his home looked. He asked, "Why do you own so little?" The philosopher replied, "Because I have learned how little I truly need." That answer changed the rich man forever. Many people believe happiness comes from adding more. More money. More validation. More possessions. But often peace comes from removing unnecessary noise. A simple morning routine can be more powerful than a complicated one. Wake up. Reflect. Move your body. Practice gratitude. Prepare your mind. Simple. Consistent. Powerful. The 18th thing a Stoic does is stop seeking validation. Many people wake up wondering, what do people think about me? Am I successful enough? Am I impressive enough? Their happiness depends on external approval. But Stoics understood that seeking validation is a trap. Because no matter what you do, some people will criticize you anyway. A musician once spent years trying to make everyone like his work. He constantly changed himself to fit other people's expectations. Eventually, he became exhausted and unhappy. One day, an older mentor told him, "If you live for applause, you will die from criticism." That sentence woke him up. From then on, he focused on creating work he genuinely believed in instead of chasing approval. A Stoic wakes up focused on character, not popularity. Do not let other people decide your worth. The 19th thing a Stoic does is train patience. Patience is one of the rarest forms of strength today. People want instant success. Instant results. Instant happiness. But nature does not work that way. Trees grow slowly. Muscles grow slowly. Wisdom grows slowly. There was once a young man who planted bamboo seeds. For years, nothing appeared above the soil. He became frustrated and wanted to quit. But an older farmer told him, "The bamboo is growing roots." Then suddenly, after years of invisible growth, the bamboo shot upward rapidly. Human growth works the same way. Sometimes your progress is invisible before it becomes visible. A Stoic remains patient during slow seasons. Do not give up on yourself simply because transformation takes time. Your discipline is building roots beneath the surface. The 20th thing a Stoic does is accept what cannot be controlled. This is one of the most powerful Stoic lessons of all. Many people destroy their peace trying to control things they never had control over. The weather. The past. Other people's opinions. Unexpected events. A Stoic focuses only on what can be controlled. Actions. Choices. Mindset. Character. There was once a sailor caught in a violent storm. The waves were enormous. The wind was terrifying. Instead of screaming at the ocean, he focused on controlling the sails. That is Stoicism. Do not waste energy fighting reality. Adapt. Respond wisely. Stay calm. Every morning remind yourself, I cannot control everything that happens today. But I can control how I respond. That mindset creates freedom. The 21st thing a Stoic does is protect energy carefully. Your energy is valuable. Stop giving it away carelessly. Some people wake up and instantly consume negativity. Arguments online. Gossip. Drama. Fear-based news. Then they wonder why they feel emotionally drained. A Stoic chooses carefully what enters the mind. There was a man who constantly felt mentally exhausted. He blamed work. He blamed stress. He blamed life. But eventually he realized the real problem. Every morning he filled his mind with negativity for hours. Once he changed what he consumed, his mental state improved dramatically. Your mind becomes what you repeatedly feed it. Feed it wisdom. Feed it calmness. Feed it discipline. Protect your inner world. The 22nd thing a Stoic does is act even when afraid. Fear is natural. Every human being experiences fear. The difference is that Stoics do not obey fear blindly. A young woman dreamed of starting her own business but delayed it for years because she feared failure. Finally, one morning, she wrote this sentence in her journal. Courage is action despite fear. That day she started. Not perfectly. Not confidently. But courageously. Her entire life changed because she stopped waiting for fear to disappear. Stoicism teaches that bravery is not the absence of fear. It is moving forward despite fear. Many opportunities in life are lost because people wait until they feel completely ready. A Stoic understands. You grow by facing discomfort. The 23rd thing a Stoic does is remember that peace is internal. Most people search for peace externally. They think peace will come when they make more money. Find the perfect relationship. Achieve success. But external things constantly change. Stoics searched for peace within themselves. A man once moved to a quiet village believing it would solve his anxiety. But after a few months, he realized something surprising. His restless mind followed him there. That is because location alone cannot create peace. Inner peace comes from inner discipline. The Stoics teach us that calmness is trained internally. Not purchased externally. Your environment matters. But your mindset matters more. The 24th thing a Stoic does is forgive mistakes quickly. Many people ruin their mornings replaying old regrets. Past failures. Embarrassing moments. Bad decisions. But Stoics believed mistakes should become lessons, not lifelong prisons. A boxer once lost an important match publicly. For months he kept replaying the defeat in his mind. An older trainer finally told him. You lost once in the ring. Stop losing every day in your head. That advice changed him completely. Learn from mistakes. Improve from mistakes. But do not emotionally torture yourself forever. A Stoic moves forward wiser instead of remaining trapped in regret. The 25th thing a Stoic does is serve something greater than the self. Stoicism is not selfish. The Stoics believed human beings should contribute positively to the world. Help people. Speak kindly. Act honorably. A nurse once worked exhausting shifts at a hospital. Despite the pressure, she remained calm and compassionate every morning. Someone asked her how she stayed mentally strong. She replied, because my life is not only about me. That perspective gave her purpose during difficult times. When your life serves something meaningful, suffering becomes easier to endure. A Stoic wakes up asking, how can I become useful today? That question creates fulfillment. And finally, the 26th thing a Stoic does every morning is begin again. No matter what happened yesterday. Maybe yesterday you failed. Maybe you were lazy. Maybe you lost control emotionally. Maybe life hurt you deeply. Still, the sun rises again. And so can you. Stoicism is not about perfection. It is about returning to discipline again and again. A recovering addict once said something powerful. Recovery did not happen because I became perfect. Recovery happened because I kept starting over. That is true for all self-improvement. Every morning is another opportunity to begin again. To think better. To act better. To live better. Do not underestimate the power of a new morning. One strong morning can become one strong day. One strong day can become one strong month. One strong month can become an entirely different life. So tomorrow morning, wake up with gratitude. Protect your peace. Control your mind. Embrace discipline. Focus on what you can control. And remember, a Stoic does not rise to impress the world. A Stoic rises to conquer the self. And before you leave this video, remember this truth carefully. Your mornings are either building you or destroying you. There is no neutral. Every morning you either strengthen discipline or strengthen excuses. You either train focus or train distraction. You either build peace or feed chaos. That is why the Stoics treated mornings seriously. Because they understood that victory over life begins with victory over the self. There was once a king who conquered many lands, yet he still felt restless and unhappy. One day, he visited a Stoic philosopher and asked, "How do I finally feel at peace?" The philosopher replied, "You conquered kingdoms but never conquered your own mind." That answer shocked the king. And honestly, it applies to many people today. Some people chase success while remaining slaves to anger. Slaves to laziness. Slaves to fear. Slaves to validation. But Stoicism teaches the greatest battle is internal. The strongest person is not the loudest. Not the richest. Not the most famous. The strongest person is the one who can control themselves during difficult moments. Especially in the morning. The 27th thing a Stoic does is guard the mind from comparison. Comparison destroys peace faster than almost anything else. You wake up feeling grateful. Then 5 minutes online makes you feel behind in life. Suddenly, someone else seems richer. Happier. More attractive. More successful. And your joy disappears. A young artist once stopped painting completely because she constantly compared herself to others online. She began believing she was not talented enough. One day, her grandfather told her, "A flower does not compete with another flower. It simply blooms." That sentence changed her life. Stoics understood that every person walks a different path. Do not ruin your mornings comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. Focus on your own growth. Your journey is your responsibility. The 28th thing a Stoic does is become comfortable with solitude. Most people fear being alone. So they constantly surround themselves with noise, entertainment, and distraction. But Stoics valued solitude because solitude strengthens self-awareness. There was once a young man who could never sit quietly by himself. Whenever silence appeared, he immediately reached for music, social media, or conversation. Eventually, he realized something painful. He was running from his own thoughts. One morning, he decided to sit alone quietly for 10 minutes. At first it felt uncomfortable. But over time, he began understanding himself more deeply. His fears. His habits. His desires. His weaknesses. Solitude became his teacher. A Stoic understands that spending time alone is not loneliness. It is training for inner strength. The 29th thing a Stoic does is stop complaining. Complaining changes nothing. It only drains energy. A man once worked with two coworkers who faced the exact same difficult job. One complained constantly every morning. The other stayed calm and focused on solutions. Months later, one became emotionally exhausted while the other became respected and mentally stronger. The difference was mindset. Stoicism teaches: do not waste energy complaining about reality. Use that energy to respond wisely instead. Every complaint feeds negativity. Every solution feeds strength. The 30th thing a Stoic does is remember that discipline creates freedom. Most people think discipline feels restrictive. But the Stoics understood the opposite. Discipline creates freedom. Financial discipline creates financial freedom. Mental discipline creates emotional freedom. Physical discipline creates health. A musician once practiced daily while his friends mocked his strict routine. Years later, he performed around the world while many of those same friends remained stuck in frustration and regret. The freedom they wanted required the discipline they avoided. This is one of the hardest truths in life. Short-term comfort often creates long-term suffering. Short-term discipline often creates long-term peace. A Stoic chooses wisely. The 31st thing a Stoic does is refuse to become bitter. Life can hurt deeply. People betray you. Dreams fail. Loss happens. And many people become bitter after pain. But Stoics believed pain should create wisdom, not poison. An elderly man once lost almost everything during a financial crisis. Years later, someone asked him how he stayed positive. He replied, "I had two choices. Become bitter or become wiser. That is the choice life gives all of us. Pain can harden the heart or strengthen the soul. A Stoic chooses growth. Even during suffering." The 32nd thing a Stoic does is appreciate ordinary moments. Modern society constantly tells people happiness exists somewhere else. The next purchase. The next relationship. The next achievement. But Stoics appreciated simple moments deeply. Sunrise. Fresh air. Conversation. Peaceful silence. A little boy once asked his grandfather, "What was the happiest moment of your life?" The grandfather smiled and replied, "This morning. Drinking tea while watching the sunrise." The boy was confused. But the grandfather understood something many people never learn. A peaceful life is built from small moments fully appreciated. Do not rush through your mornings without noticing life itself. The 33rd thing a Stoic does is control desires. Many people are controlled by endless cravings. More money. More attention. More pleasure. But uncontrolled desire creates endless dissatisfaction. A Stoic practices moderation. There was once a wealthy man who owned luxurious houses, expensive cars, and endless possessions. Yet he remained miserable. Meanwhile, a humble gardener with far less lived peacefully. Someone asked the gardener why he always seemed happy. He answered, "Because I learned when enough is enough." That is wisdom. The person who always wants more can never rest peacefully. A Stoic learns contentment. The 34th thing a Stoic does is stay humble. Pride blinds people. It makes them believe they know everything. Deserve everything. Control everything. But Stoics remained humble because life can change quickly. A champion athlete once became arrogant after years of success. Then injuries suddenly ended his career. Everything changed overnight. That experience humbled him deeply. He later admitted, "Life taught me that nothing is guaranteed. Humility keeps the mind balanced." A Stoic remains grateful during success and calm during failure. Because both are temporary. The 35th thing a Stoic does is master consistency. Most people start strong but quit quickly. They feel motivated for a few days. Then return to old habits. But Stoicism is not about intensity. It is about consistency. A stone is not broken by one drop of water. It is shaped by repeated drops over time. That is how habits work. One peaceful morning will not transform your life instantly. But hundreds of peaceful mornings will. One disciplined choice seems small. Repeated daily, it becomes powerful. The Stoics understood that greatness is built quietly through repetition. The 36th thing a Stoic does is refuse to waste life. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, once warned that people act as though they will live forever. So they waste time carelessly. Hours scrolling. Hours gossiping. Hours procrastinating. Then suddenly years disappear. A man once visited his childhood neighborhood after decades away. Everything looked smaller and older. He suddenly realized how quickly life had passed. That moment changed him forever. From then on, he treated every morning with respect. Because he understood time is the most valuable thing a human being possesses. Money lost can return. Opportunities may return. But time never returns. A Stoic remembers this daily. The 37th thing a Stoic does is practice emotional endurance. Some mornings will feel heavy. You may feel tired. Heartbroken. Discouraged. But Stoicism teaches endurance. Not denial of emotions. Not pretending pain does not exist. But refusing to surrender completely to despair. A marathon runner once collapsed during training from exhaustion. He wanted to quit permanently. But his coach told him, "Strength is not built on easy days." That sentence stayed with him forever. The hardest mornings often create the strongest people. Do not underestimate your ability to endure. You are stronger than many of your emotions tell you. The 38th thing a Stoic does is choose peace over ego. Many arguments happen because people desperately want to be right. Even when peace would be more valuable. A father and son once stopped speaking for years after a small disagreement. Both were too proud to apologize. Then suddenly the father passed away unexpectedly. The son carried regret for the rest of his life. Ego steals peace. A Stoic understands that winning arguments is not always winning in life. Sometimes wisdom means letting go. Protect relationships more than pride. The 39th thing a Stoic does is build inner stability. The world constantly changes. People change. Situations change. Fortunes change. If your peace depends entirely on external things, your emotions will always feel unstable. Stoics built stability internally. Like a tree with deep roots surviving storms. A sailor once said, "You cannot stop waves from coming, but you can strengthen your ship." That is Stoicism. Life will always bring uncertainty. Strengthen yourself instead of demanding a perfect world. And finally, the 40th thing a Stoic does every morning is remember who they are becoming. Every choice matters. Every habit matters. Every morning shapes identity. The person you become next year is hidden inside the routines you repeat today. So ask yourself honestly. Who are you becoming every morning? Are your habits creating peace? Or creating chaos? Are your mornings building strength? Or building weakness? Because eventually, your daily routine becomes your destiny. Wake up intentionally. Protect your mind. Train your character. Respect your time. And rise every day like a Stoic. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel for more life-changing Stoic wisdom. Share this video with someone who needs discipline and peace in their life. And comment below. What is the biggest distraction ruining your mornings? Remember, a calm morning creates a powerful life.